I don't want to go back out. So I'm home once I'm home. That's it. Unless there's something going on.
LA's the only place you can go from LA to LA, and it takes you an hour.
I know it, man. I know.
I say we cross like multiple counties, like
time zones.
We pass like six towns on this road.
Yep. All right, cool. Well, let's go.
Right?
All right, welcome everybody to the room upstairs. My name is Bird. I'm here with my host, like usual,
TallBeing and Mephisjoe.
Yeah, welcome. We are here with a special guest today. I'd like to introduce my man. I've known this guy for probably 20 some odd years.
25 years.
I was in your wedding. Do you remember?
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah. But we're here with our special guest, D1, Emmanuel Munda. This is, and if you need any kind of media, audio, video, lighting, you go through and let them know what you do.
Audio, video, event, fundraising, anything and everything. So I just go by creative consultant.
There you go, man. Yeah, and as you can see on his hat, it says D1 Productions because he is the one to go to if you need whatever.
Oh, that's what it means.
That's it, man. That's it. At least that's what you told me.
Was it?
way back in the lounge days, man.
Lounge.
I used to do, we used to do a little hip hop spot out there in California. That's kind of where we started working together. And now we're doing something else, which, like, you're sitting in our other project right now.
Right there. CamperSnaps Sessions.
Yeah. CamperSnaps Sessions. Look us up.
Cross promotion?
Yeah.
Cross promotions.
It's a collab.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you actually got some other podcasts going. Actually, this is where we were supposed to be. We mentioned it in our last podcast that we were going to be out on the road somewhere. And that's where we were supposed to be sitting on that side, hanging out in the camper, recording this podcast there with you in person. But unfortunately, it did not work out.
Yeah, so I had another podcast in here yesterday.
Yes. Yeah, you did, man. You did.
Sorry, guys. You were bumped.
It's all right.
Makes me feel better. I wasn't.
Yeah, we'll do it. We'll try again next time. But anyway, welcome guys, the Room Upstairs podcast. Make sure to follow us on our socials, Instagram and Facebook, the Room Upstairs podcast. Obviously, we're on YouTube. If you're watching us, like, subscribe, comment. Definitely comment because we've got a lot of stuff that we talk about and we battle. And we want you guys to give us feedback on that stuff. And if you are just listening, you can catch us on YouTube also and do all those things. So today, you want to give a rundown of what we're going to be doing?
Yeah, so today we have a couple of different things.
Mm-hmm.
We have our composer battle that we've been going through every week, a tournament-style bracket, different composers each week. Today, we will be battling Alan Silvestri versus Elmer Bernstein.
That's right.
Stein. I said it wrong. I don't know which one's right, but I definitely said it wrong there.
We're not correcting you.
We have another special guest.
Own it.
Hey, go play with Nora. Go. Or say hi real fast, and then you can go. Say hi.
Hi.
Okay. All right, go play. See, she's crying for you. His daughter's here too. They're supposed to be playing together. She likes to come record with me. So the battles.
Yes, so we have our composer battle there, and then after that, Transformers. We have the 86 versus the 2007 Michael Bay directed movie.
Masterpiece? Is that what you were going to say?
It's a piece.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
We'll get into that in a little while. But like you said, first we're going to get into this composer battle.
Actually, first we have very important business.
Okay.
Our Conan update.
Conan update.
You know what we got?
Nothing. Man.
One of these days.
We're hyped for this Conan movie.
What were you waiting for?
We're waiting for the Conan movie.
Oh, okay.
King Conan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought you were going to battle it out with, Red Sonja versus whatever.
No, we
more
will
recent
battle. We
ones.
will battle the actual Conan movies at some point. Yeah, but
All right.
there's been talks about doing a King Conan movie, but we haven't.
That James
it's
Earl
been a long
Jones
time.
turning into a snake is really it's core memories, man.
It really is, man. It really is for me. Yeah, that's the update on that. Oh, also, Happy New Year, by the way. This is our first podcast of the year. Yeah.
So that's cool. Stuff happened since we were gone that we're not going to talk about yet.
No. We'll get to that. But, all right. Are we ready to do this?
We're ready. All right.
Let's get into our first battle of the year.
Yeah. Alan Silvestri, Elmer Bernstein. What are we thinking, guys?
Okay, so let me give a quick rundown. I know you went through the
I was
list.
told it was Elmer Fudd and Silvestri the cat, so
That's what you looked at?
I'm not prepared.
Yeah, well, that's their honorary names, is Alan Silvestri the cat, Elmer Fudd Bernstein.
Oh.
So, here, I'll give a quick rundown.
Actually,
So-
I'm already ready to vote. But
You're ready?
you can do the
This
rest.
is the rundown for anybody that is not aware of what they've composed and what they've been a part of. So, Alan Silvestri, he has about 143 credits to his name, 143 movies, including, but not limited to, Back to the Future, all three of them, Flight of the Navigator, Predator, Roger Rabbit, you cannot forget Mario Brothers and Judge Dredd,
Yes.
G.I. Joe, Captain America, the Avenger movies, and so on and so forth. So that's Alan Silvestri. Elmer Fudd Bernstein. He's got a whopping 258 credits to his name. So he's up there. And he's got The Magnificent Seven, True Grit, The Wild Wild West with Will Smith. You can't count that movie out. Heavy Metal. Do you guys know Heavy Metal?
Yeah, I don't watch it.
Yeah, don't watch Heavy Metal, but he did compose that. He did Ghostbusters. He did some of the scary music for the Thriller song for Michael Jackson. To Kill a Mockingbird, The Great Escape, and so on with him. So he was really active in like the 60s, really all the way up to 2004 was his last, 2002 was his last movie. So like 6 decades of making scores for movies, which is wild. So you said you're ready.
Mhm.
So what is going to be?
I got one word for you.
Okay.
Sidekicks. Alan Silvestri comes down. Gets the vote.
That movie was what's
Chuck
his name?
Norris.
Chuck Norris?
Yeah.
Chuck Norris.
Oh my
But also,
god!
I noticed you left off your list for Silvestri, Forrest Gump,
He did do
which
Forrest
is
Gump.
another huge one, I feel. But yeah, sidekicks. Well done.
Okay.
Silvestri.
Silvestri for you.
Point Silvestri.
All right, Mundizi. You want to go next? You want to wait for last? How do you...
No, I'll wait for last.
Okay. All right. Do you want to go next, or should I go next?
I'll go.
Okay.
All right.
Because you were kind of
I
on the fence.
I was on the fence here.
And then you
I
heard the
will-
word sidekicks.
Brain just went, okay, you're right. So I'll be honest, I forgot it was Bernstein. I thought it was someone else.
Are you serious?
Wow.
So that's who I was on the fence with.
Oh my gosh.
So
I did
John
listen to
Williams
Bernstein.
wins, right?
He's already moved on.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, man.
No, it's someone that we'll be doing next podcast.
Okay.
I did listen to Bernstein, but today when I said I'm on the fence, it's because I
You were thinking of
just
somebody
thinking of
else.
someone else.
Who were you thinking of? Just so I know.
Basil Polidori.
Oh, okay. Kind of in that same...
That's not a Looney Tunes character at all, man.
No. That definitely should have been the clue of like, you're on the wrong guy.
Yeah. So, oh no, wait a second. So yeah.
And
that said-
you're the one that made the list.
yes, I'm
You
aware.
have everything in your computer.
And we've
started-
been making the Looney Tunes jokes for like 2 weeks.
Listen, the thing is, I had made my decision and started listening to the next composers.
Oh,
That's
okay.
why I got confused.
Okay. I'll let it
Because
slide.
the decision was Silvestri, almost from the start.
Oh,
Now
okay.
listen,
Mhm.
I really love the Western movie.
Yeah.
But it's Silvestri. He's got Back to the Future. And he's got the Avengers movies. What else more do I have to say? sidekicks. He's icing on the cake, you know.
I think the icing on the cake would be Mac and Me.
Oh, that's a real passion.
No,
I have
you
seen that movie.
didn't.
You know what I'm talking
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Mac and Me, man. So my vote also goes for Alan Silvestri.
He's won all of our hearts.
Yeah, I mean, I do like Elmer Fudd stuff. It was especially True Grit and
Mag 7.
and the Magnificent
He's
Seven.
got really good stuff.
Oh yeah.
He's got a lot of good stuff, but man, when you talk about iconic,
Oh yeah.
and maybe because it's closer to where we are now than Bernstein stuff, maybe that makes a difference. So if we were like 30 years back, maybe we'd be like thinking Bernstein stuff like how we're thinking Silvestri stuff right now.
Yeah.
But
because we grew up with a lot of that. At least you and I.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like, I can't tell you how many times I watched and like heard the soundtrack for Forrest Gump legitimately, or like we love Avengers,
right?
The
sidekicks.
Every track in the Avengers score is burnt into my memory, but not because of the movie, because of the Lego game, which uses all of the original tracks from those movies for the actual score.
That's probably the weirdest thing you've ever said.
No, the weirdest thing I've ever said is that all of the 1989 Batman music was burned into my memory because of the Lego game.
Well, that's pretty
I
equal.
am even more removed.
It's pretty equal. Okay, well, what do you think, D1?
Kick it over to E.
How many names have you used already?
We're gonna exhaust all of them.
See, I you know what? As much as I like Silvestri and everything that he does is extremely iconic, and you remember him, right? And you remember the actual score. Whereas Elmer Bernstein, you remember the theme songs and the songs that came with it that were done by other artists, so forth, so on. But when you can do that many movies and historically be sort of the staple of Hollywood in film scoring, I would give it to Bernstein.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I mean, I totally get it because last time we had what's his name from Bernard Herrmann, like that did Psycho and like pretty much all the Hitchcock movies, and we actually voted for him over.
It was Tyler Bates.
Tyler Bates, who did like the new Mario Brothers movie.
Yeah, because I'll say Elmer Bernstein defined the Western sound, like how that music sounded.
Yeah.
You can't really say that much for Silvestri.
Yeah. No, I definitely, it was a little tough because of that, but when I just think about all the iconic scores that Silvestri has, I couldn't vote against him.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
I just wanted to be the guy that's different because,
Well, you did it, man. And no argument from here. They're two good choices. So whichever way you go, I think you're all good.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, you lost out, and Silvestri's going to move on to the next bracket in the tournament.
Yeah, we don't usually all agree like that.
Yeah, no, that's a rarity.
Yeah.
Well, with that, I will announce next week.
Yeah.
Well, not week, but next podcast
Mm-hmm.
Contestants. So Silvestri moves forward. We will be doing, as I just said, Basil Poldoris.
Yeah.
Versus the one and only Hans Zimmer.
Oh,
Ooh,
nice.
Hans.
This is
I owned a couple of his old computers and recording equipment for a while, and it's just like
You owned.
I owned it and just feeling the vibe.
Like he was like, I'm done with these. You could use them.
Yeah,
or,
he donated to the school I was teaching at, and to have Hans Zimmer's own, we call that Mac G3 tower, where he composed several of the stuff in the late 90s, or is it? Yeah, in the late 90s, early 2000s. Yeah, that's pretty cool. It didn't work afterwards because it was really old. But the fact that it's there,
to be able to have it.
That's a historical artifact.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think we ended up Leiko decided to put it somewhere else. We'll just leave that
That's
alone.
pretty cool.
But it's pretty cool. Yeah. Got to meet.
Yeah, for sure.
Got to meet him in person. He donated the stuff in person. Just says, "Here's all my equipment. If you guys can use it." I think I still have one of his speakers though.
Oh, nice. Yeah. And I was gonna say, obviously we wanted you on because we're friends, but you also like have a lot of connections to the industry, which is pretty cool. One of the people you recently met was very popular in the '90s.
Who?
Will Smith?
Which one?
No, not Will Smith. Miss Tia Carrera.
Oh, Tia. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah,
We were partying in Washington D.C. It was fun.
yeah. And who else was there? La Bamba.
Yeah, Lou Diamond Phillips. Lou's a cool
Yeah,
guy.
it's La Bamba.
The La Bamba.
Yeah, which is pretty cool. So like, whenever you shake his hand in person, you're also shaking the hands of Hans Zimmer and La Bamba
Mm-hmm.
and Tia Carrera,
I respect all of those.
and there's other people.
Yeah, and a couple of weeks ago, I was with Simu Liu, Eugene Cordero, and what's his name? And Wong.
Oh, Benedict.
Wong, yeah. So I was hanging out with a bunch of Marvel characters. It was fun.
Yeah. We'll have to get some of those stories sometime.
Yeah, no, I was just in the same room with them. That's all. We took selfies and.
Oh, well, that's a good story. We got them all.
Yeah.
That was exclusive.
That's exclusive. It's your 1 degree now.
Right.
Congratulations.
Yeah, man. All right. Well, shall we get started with the Transformers?
Let's do it.
You ready?
No.
This is what you came for.
All right, let's go.
Okay. So obviously, I've got my hat on.
Don't you gotta do what's it called
The tail of the
the
tape.
tail of the tape?
I will. Yeah, I'm just showing off my stuff first.
Yeah.
We've got our background set up. We're ready to do this Transformers thing.
All right.
So, tail of the tape. We're going to start off with Transformers the movie from 1986, and for some reason I don't have the information for that, other than it's from 1986 and it's about an hour and 30 minutes, I think is what it was. An hour and 20 minutes, maybe.
It just barely made the 90-minute minimum for a full-length feature.
Yeah, they just had to reach that minimum, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they could put it out.
That makes a lot of sense.
It was rated G movie. No. Was it rated G?
I think it would have been PG.
Probably. And anyway, it's going up against, obviously, the Michael Bay directed Transformers from 2007, which was rated PG-13. And this one's a whopping 2 hours and 24 minutes.
That movie was longer. It's a supernatural movie. It dilates time in a way that I don't understand.
So this says it's TVY7, but that's got to be like
An old
a
rating.
recent update or something.
Oh, for sure. All right, so that's pretty much the tail of the tape of what we'll do. I think everybody knows who stars in these movies. So,
Judd Nelson.
yeah, Judd Nelson was in the cartoon. Orson Welles was another one. Yeah. Of course, Peter Cullen.
Yep. Peter Optimus Prime Cullen.
Mm-hmm. And Megatron.
Leonard Nimoy.
Leonard Nimoy?
Well,
that was
Galvatron. That's Leonard Nimoy.
Yeah, was that Leonard Nimoy? Nice. I knew he was in it. I didn't remember who he was.
Megatron is Frank Welker.
Frank Welker, that's right.
Yeah.
But who was Leonard Nimoy then?
Galvatron.
It was Galvatron. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So they
Yeah,
just
it changes. Yeah.
I didn't even notice the voice change. Okay, cool.
Frank Welker was also Soundwave.
Yeah. I was gonna get a little Soundwave when I saw it, but
That's one of my favorite designs.
it was just a
Yeah,
little.
it's everybody's favorite. Soundwave is like the coolest.
Yeah.
one.
No. This movie introduced me to my favorite Transformer of all time, ever.
Grimlock.
Perceptor.
Oh my god.
You know,
Perceptor. I should have, you know what? If you were here, I would have gotten him on the phone. Paul
Was he the one with the?
Paul Eiding's one of my good friends.
See?
What is this?
You know, his daughter went to the school I was teaching at while I was teaching. And
Yeah.
and when we were doing Beauty and the Beast at the time as a musical, and we needed somebody to do the introduction narration, the Once Upon a Time.
Oh no
And we
way.
brought Paul Eiding in, and I'm like, "You're Perceptor. You made me cry back in 1986 every time Optimus Prime dies. That was like the most.
Yeah, that movie scarred a whole generation.
Oh,
Yeah.
Between that one in the 80s and like the TV miniseries The It.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
and
But
the never-ending story.
we'll bring that back up when we start really debating about which one's better. All right.
Okay.
Because
All right.
just remember that.
Well, oh yeah.
Remember that.
All right. Well, where do you want to get started then?
Well, I have categories.
Okay.
So it's a pretty simple categories. I think these should help us really get through every little piece of the movie, though. So we'll start pretty simple. This is encompassing design, the actual voice acting and characterization of all the Autobots. Which one just did Autobots better?
Autobots, just in general, who had better Autobots?
Yes.
Okay. Who's gonna go first?
Go for it.
Me? I'll go first. Cartoon.
Yeah.
1986. Definitely. I mean, we just said some of these names that is, even though Peter Cullen was in the new one also.
He's in all of them, isn't he?
Yeah, he was in all of them.
It's so good they used the original one. That's
Exactly.
You can't replace him.
It would have been really foolish to try to replace him as
He
the
is-
voice of Optimus Prime.
He is
Now-
J.K. Simmons is J. Jonah Jameson.
Right.
It's the same level of, like, you can't replace that.
Right. And even the problem I had was, like, if we're talking just who was better in general, the way that he was used in the new movies, I didn't like.
Oh, it's
Like,
awful.
obviously the voice is cool.
Yeah,
but, like-
no, it's awful. It's so
They were
bad.
just giving them sound bites.
Not Optimus Prime. Yeah.
It was literally
Yeah.
soundbite city just to have him say it.
Right.
And
Right.
it's like,
It's funny too because for me, like in the newer one, they had like a really strong group of Autobots, like really well known ones.
Mhm.
But that just can't overcome the fact that, like you said, they're just sound bites. Like
Yeah.
they're aside from Optimus Prime and obviously Bumblebee, like I mean, and Jazz a little, I guess. Like they're I didn't care about any of them.
Right.
You know, like
I don't care about any of them even after knowing most of them.
Yeah, but and which is really interesting too when you consider like the cartoon, like the 1980s one. That's like all different characters than we got in the show. You know,
Yeah.
like they're setting up the future of Transformers. Like nobody cared about Hot Rod before that,
No.
and then after that, you're like, oh yeah, Optimus Prime, man.
Yeah. He was definitely
Incredible,
my favorite after that.
Cuff's really cool.
Ultra Magnus, I thought was cool.
Yeah.
He was lame. Like
I don't.
he was just there for his purpose of like throw you off. But I thought his design was still pretty cool.
Yeah, design wise.
But
You're like, we can do a different kind of samurai.
yeah. I felt like even in the new one, they still didn't even care about each other. Like Jazz.
Yeah, he gets ripped in half, man.
Well, so he got ripped in half. Not in half. I think it was in like threes. I think he ripped his leg off and then in half.
Yeah.
But anyway, at the end, when Optimus Prime is talking to everybody, like he's just holding on to one part here, one part there.
Yeah, he puts his foot up on his body. We will
says it.
continue.
it's like he's a wreck. He's you know?
yeah. The way
He's
he
like, we lost a great hero today. Anyway. See ya guys later.
Let's move on.
he's just holding the corpse, like in his hands.
What's this category we're in? Because I
it's still the first one. So
yeah,
it's the best Autobots
best
in general.
Autobots in general. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yes, my vote, cartoon. You voted
Same.
Cartoon also.
cartoon.
You voted cartoon also.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Straight up.
Okay.
Straight up.
All the way.
One word. Perceptor. He transforms into a spyglass.
Look, how can the Autobots use with
Perceptor
a transformer like that? Not just that one, but they had the boombox one. He turns into a boombox. It's like, how are you guys gonna compete with this? We gotta tell him we got a boombox.
Is that Soundwave basically?
Yeah.
But he's got little guys that come out that are really cool.
Yeah, the Boombox guy does too.
Well, he does.
Yeah.
You're right. He
They
does.
fought
And they took him out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, right at the beginning, they were like, "Oh yeah, those characters that you like, bye bye."
Yeah.
But look, Decepticons have always had the better designs.
Oh yeah.
Like in the cartoon, in the movie, they're always the cooler ones.
Yeah, they did Starscream real dirty, man.
They always do something like that.
Yeah. Except that one show.
You know what?
Prime did it.
I don't know if this is a category, but the one thing I did appreciate about the newer movies is they did show Starscream some respect. Because like he comes flying in at one point, and they're like Starscream, and they all like scatter and hide.
Yeah.
We'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
So, I love Perceptor so much.
Okay.
He's dear to my heart because it's such a useless little guy.
What are you looking
It's
at?
so funny to me.
Is this Perceptor?
That's me and Paul Lighting.
Nice.
Anyway, that's my hero.
Yeah, at the 35th anniversary of Transformers.
Wow. How long ago was that?
2021. Is it? Yeah.
Oh, just a few years ago.
Just a few years ago, yeah. So they did a whole a screening with, I think there was about 8 of the voice actors were there, and it was just like,
Wow.
I was geeking out. The Micro Machine guy was there, and
Oh yeah.
Grimlock was there.
She was in the movie also.
Yeah. So who else was there? Grimlock. Here's what's his name that does the Micro Machines? He was there, and the dude that did Grimlock is right there. Yeah. So Paul invited me out, and it was just like it was in the middle of the pandemic, so not a lot of people showed up. So you had a lot of FaceTime with all these people, and it was just mind blowing to be just in their presence. And I keep telling Paul, "You made me cry every single damn time."
That's cool, man. See, that's what I miss about being in California. Go to stuff like that. Even though Lou Ferrigno is going to be out here in a couple weeks.
Really?
So if we want to go get some Lou Ferrigno signed stuff, we can go.
Who?
So, don't get jealous. Yeah.
Wasn't he like a security guard on the Marvel movie?
He was. He was. Yeah. I think that's his last well-known role. Security guard A.
No. He was in that. What was that one with Paul Rudd and Jeremy Siegel?
Oh yeah. I love you, man.
Yeah.
Wait, did he play himself though?
Right.
That's true.
Right.
It was really funny.
He was funny in that. All right. Anyway, let's move on to the next category.
Anyway, well, reverse of Autobots, Decepticons.
Decepticons
Mhm.
again.
One
The cartoons.
cartoon, right? What do you think?
Yeah, because the new movie, Starscream got a little bit of character, and then it's all Megatron. The cartoons, at least they had Decepticons.
Right.
It's kind of hard though, because they're not really Decepticons because they get changed and they get used by what's his face.
So that's where my argument is that the cartoon didn't really have a whole lot of Decepticons. When they show up at the start, they're wrecking everybody, like out of the park every time they get the chance. After that, they're not really in it a whole bunch because it's the Galvatron forces.
One of my favorite scenes in the cartoon is they're escaping and they're on the spaceship that was a train. Yeah. And the Constructicons just start smashing him and stuff. I was like, what is the point of this guy? What is your transport?
Yeah, but still, because I would still count Galvatron as a Decepticon, and I think his actual transformation in the movie was one of the best. It was a legitimately good scene for
with that high tech 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
games.
Yeah, that's what it reminded me of.
Beyond the visuals, though, it's if you're gonna just focus in on Megatron, Galvatron, there's a lot of depth in that transformation. You go from a leader to a slave, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's now it's like
how he's kind of denying that.
Exactly. Yeah. So, I would probably go for the movies as far as Decepticons because all throughout they are featured and you're right. They Starscream you start getting more in depth, and in some of the movies you get Megatron's journey, right, when he's all covered up in the desert and all that stuff where you kind of see him broken down and trying to regain his power. So they did a lot more concentration on the Decepticon side as far as the movies are concerned. So Decepticons, I would have to go with Michael Bay on that, and that's probably the only thing he kind of got right. Besides explosion.
Yeah. Well, so I think that you said that they're not enough. They're not in it enough in the cartoon. I think that in the movie, in the live action, they're not. Megatron's not in it till the last 45 minutes of the movie.
That's true.
As he's like, they don't even show him really.
The other ones are just bland. Like
the other ones don't talk.
Yeah, because the one that does the police car, like he shows up and
he goes, "Is your name, ladies man 4267?"
Yeah, he like chases them, but like they're given no characterization whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
Like the only one who gets any kind of character initially is Starscream, and then Megatron.
Yeah.
And so that's why it's really hard for me because like if you make that distinction, like is Galvatron really a Decepticon?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because he is a slave. Right? He's not leading his own group. He's part of a troop doing the bidding of Unicron. Yeah, it's not. He's not pushing forward the goals of the Decepticons. Whereas at least in the Michael Bay movie, that's Decepticon City, man.
So then, are you going with Michael Bay also?
In this case, I think so. Yeah.
Oh man! All right.
Wow, you thought it'd
I
be
didn't expect-
you thought it'd be a sweep, huh?
I was gonna be sweet for sure. Yeah, man.
I'm also going Michael
Are
Bay.
you serious?
Good job, Tommy.
I hate the Autobots in that movie because they all despise each other.
Uh-huh.
And that's the main thing with that movie is every character seems to hate each other, and I don't like it at all. It makes it where I don't care about any of them, and I want the Decepticons to win by the end. That's one of the reasons I'm giving it to the Decepticons, is because they feel like a unit and a group. But at the same time, Michael Bay's original vision for the movie was a disaster movie. The Transformers
Isn't that
are
what
the
the newest one is?
disaster.
Oh.
And I see that with the Decepticons. He wanted to go for more of like they're monsters and the Autobots are people kind of thing.
But are they
Failed
kaiju?
heavily with the Autobots. I think the Decepticons as these raging monsters, and then Megatron was like the intelligent one.
Uh-huh.
Works. I don't like the build up to Megatron at all. It's really bad, but I quite like.
But my thing is, so when they did show them, like they really didn't talk in the big movies, so you don't really get anything out. They looked really cool. Obviously, the helicopter, his transformation is one of my favorite transformations. Where how he's got the blades in the back, and then the dude pops out of him. Like they all look really cool. The police car looks really cool. When Starscream turns into the jet, transforms back into robot, back into the jet, like it all looks good. But there's a little scene in the cartoon, and this is why I'm going cartoon. It's just my defense. When Megatron is defeated, right, by Optimus Prime near the beginning, and like he's still alive, and Starscream, he's like, fix me, and Starscream's like, see ya, there's nothing we can do, and he tosses him out into space, right?
Starscream was a jerk.
It was so funny, man.
That's the only thing that they got right on both sides, right?
Starscream,
oh, for sure.
He's like opposite things in both movies.
but that to me showed character for Starscream. Mm-hmm. And then like once they go inside the ship and they're talking to each other like, all right, well now obviously I'm gonna be the leader, and they're like, what do you mean obviously? No, I'm obviously gonna be the leader. And they start fighting amongst each other.
Yeah,
I thought that was so funny and so good. Like that was creating characters. So that's why I gotta go with the cartoon version. There's no way I can go with Michael Bay. So I don't understand you guys, but whatever.
well,
there you go.
That was iron, didn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever like watched like the Beast Wars show, but I think I remember it correctly. Mm-hmm. It's like Starscream's spark, when he gets destroyed in the movie, ends up in the Beast Wars show.
It might.
Yeah, I think that it is drifting somehow and gets caught because I don't remember a lot of it because I only got to watch whenever I was like able to catch it, but that takes place on Earth at the same time that like the Autobots are like stuck in the mountain like asleep, slumbering or whatever, and like so these guys are from the future, I think, have gone to the past, and then somehow Starscream's spark ends up there, and then they end up getting a body or something.
That was like
Yeah, I thought
the Beast versus the Insecticons, right, or something like that.
I don't remember. I remember like I think the bad guys, the Decepticons like take on like Tyrannosaurus and there's a Velociraptor. Mostly dinosaur stuff, kind of stuff, and then the Autobots are all mammals.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to that show and that movie at some point too. Aiden loves that movie. So, all right. Well, let's go to the next category.
Yeah.
It's number 3.
Yep.
Okay.
3. So this is kind of encompassing.
Okay.
Everything we've got so far. Transformer designs on both sides.
Okay.
Which one designed the?
Oh, is
Is the cartoon?
Oh, yeah, there's no. I mean, aside from the Decepticons that you've named, everything is so bland.
It's so
it's all.
Yeah.
Everything's gray. If they're not like a named character, it's all gray and like.
Even Jazz.
You mean the robot form?
Gray.
Yeah. Like, and not just. I mean, like, because like when they turn into cars, like they're actual cars. So there's nothing wrong with that. But like every time they turn into robots. Like even Starscream, when he turns into a robot, he's just great. Like, aside from Optimus Prime,
and metallic sharp mass.
Yeah,
so what is that?
Optimus Prime and Bumblebee like have color, and so like they're easy to distinguish. But everybody else is just gray masses. Right?
Yeah, I mean the fights were hard to tell.
You get in the cartoon, you got Perceptor, and you got like these actual design. Hot Rod was really cool looking. Yeah, Ultra Magnus has a really distinct appearance.
Okay. So are we talking like wow factor, or are we talking just in general, like which one looked better?
I think in general, like how you felt looking at them the first time, how you feel they transform the first time.
See, I would have been happy if and it eventually showed up where they took the designs from the cartoon and actually used those designs for a live action, right?
Yeah,
it would have been really.
Which I think they felt the. It was fun.
Yeah, well, that's what he said, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I mean, the whole point of the cartoons were to market the toys, so the way they transformed were close to the way the toys were. So you, as a toy owner or somebody that wants the toys, be like, oh look, I'm transforming just like in the TV, right? And there's that wow factor when I was a kid. Right, it's like, oh look, I'm transforming Bumblebee exactly the same way as he's transforming. When the Michael Bay movie came out, I'm just going, well, that doesn't make sense. Like, seriously, even though we grew up with Perceptor turning into Perceptor, the Michael Bay movies really did. It's like, oh, it's just a jumbled mess, and then they turn into whatever robots, and it's all these like. All these things that were not as simplified as when we were kids. So I guess young 8-year-old, 9-year-old me, wow on the old one, and then older me for the Michael Bay movie. So it's kind of split because the first time you see the transformation, it's still like, oh, cool, right? But the Michael Bay movies, they just got old every time they transform. Yeah. It's like it. How much longer does it take for them to transform? when right? And then in the cartoons it's and done.
Right.
It's a couple of vowels.
But I feel like that part was dependent on what was going on in the movie. Because there was times when they transformed fast.
Yeah,
right.
Like Starscream in the sky. He's like, oh, he's a robot, now he's a plane.
Right.
And when they want to do it dramatically, a long extended shot.
Exactly.
Right. It takes a long time. It was just for effects, and they were trying to get that wow factor instead of it just naturally like, this is a cool thing that actually transforms, like you're saying with the cartoon, and then you have the toy. Like the wow factor is like, I saw this on TV, and now I'm doing it with my hands.
Yeah.
As opposed to like, that just really looks cool, like a Pacific Rim, right? I love that movie, and seeing those robots just look cool.
Yeah.
But there's no like transformation that I want to have. It's just seeing those things is cool.
Yeah.
So my vote is for the cartoon.
I vote cartoon.
Yeah.
Cartoon.
What did you vote?
It's cartoon for me.
Cartoon.
Yeah. If I had to choose, it'd be cartoon.
He votes cartoon. Okay, that's a sweep then. See, that's more like it.
Yeah.
All right, what's next? What you got? Soundtrack.
Let's see. Oh,
Are we doing that?
I think
We'll
that's
get-
gotta
It's
gotta
on
be it.
here. We'll get there in a
All
second.
right.
So I've got this split into two categories. So
Okay.
We'll start with the first one.
Okay.
This is
This is like an A and B.
yeah, kind of.
Okay.
This is we've learned our lesson now on how to tackle this. It's the action sequences. We have a category for the better action sequences visually
Mhm.
and emotionally.
Okay.
Which ones are more weighty with the story?
Mhm.
Which ones are weightier?
With the visuals, just looking at it.
Yeah.
That's the wow factor.
Yeah. So
Okay.
we'll start with visually.
Visually, I think it has to be Bay for me. Visually, like you can't compare it to an '80s cartoon.
I mean, the opening scene with the Decepticons blasting into the Autobot ship and shooting that one. I think it's just a nameless Autobot. His,
Uh-huh.
like eyes light up and it just explodes.
Yeah, I mean there was some pretty good scenes of action, but comparatively, right? You're talking '80s cartoon, '80s animation. There's a limit there, right, of what you could do to make it like what it can be. And so I think that the base stuff visually
That-
did it better. It just looked better, right? Like if I'm like, what's
I
if I get picked up by the Transformer aliens and they're like, let me see some good technology, I'm not gonna be like, hey, check out this '80s animation cartoon. You'll love this. I'm gonna be like, check out this base stuff.
I
This is done on
could
computer.
not tell what was happening.
The fact that a cartoon can do that, though, right? It
Uh-huh.
gets you so emotionally and visually, what do you call that? Involved in the experience, and it's a cartoon, and you're going, dang, they blew up that robot. Dang, they killed that so and so, and then you're like, oh, that's one of my favorite. Oh, he's dead too in a cartoon,
Yeah.
right? And I think
Yeah.
it goes to show how powerful the imagery was for that cartoon to be able to do that in its 15 frames per secondness compared
Yeah.
to a Michael Bay movie with all these explosions, and you're still going, oh, another one. Oh, another explosion. Oh, wait, are you going to blow it? Yep, they blew it up. Yep, that's exactly what they did. Oh, wait, slow-mo. Oh, okay. But it's like, I guess it's so common now in this
Mhm.
movie digital era to just already expect the visuals to be just like that, right? It's like
Yeah.
everything's green screened, everything is CG and all that stuff. That we're now it was already dulled by the time Transformers came out. So even though we visually were like, oh, cool, it's like, okay, we already know how that's done. But the aspect of the cartoon, just to be able to make you go, wow, right? While it's still being a cartoon. Because I can still
Mhm.
watch that now and still be wowed by how they did that. And it wasn't anime, right? Even the
Yeah.
anime existed at the same time and they animated the same way. But the emotional aspect is there, and it brought the level of what we were seeing as cartoons on TV back in 85, 86 to this whole other level to be like, oh crap, this thing can be dramatic. This thing can be,
Yeah.
it wasn't just a cheesy cartoon anymore. It was emotionally involved action movie. And that's exactly why I would go for 86 cartoon over
For the
Michael Bay.
80s?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I totally get that. And I think that's more on the storytelling side. And I don't know if we're going to have this category, but I think that was due to like the story, the way that it was written was just better in the cartoon. So like whatever happened in the cartoon was more impactful,
Right.
rather than whether just blowing stuff up. But I'm saying, if you take 30 seconds from the Bay movie and 30 seconds from the cartoon out of context, just like, let me pick 30 seconds out of each one and just throw them on visually, the wow is going to be on Michael Bay for me anyway. And that's all I'm talking about.
And once again,
No, you're not there.
I'm not there.
time,
I'm not
half
there.
the time, I could not tell what was happening in the fights because they all looked the same.
Yeah.
So it was like trying to watch the final fight in the first Venom movie. It's like they're just two big blobs. I don't know what's happening right now.
Right.
Well,
But if you're-
it's like this. You take 30 seconds of a Michael Bay movie, right? And then you take 30 seconds of the Transformers animation movie. And then you take 30 seconds of the biggest explosive scene in The Avengers. The Avengers in the Michael Bay movie, nothing will stand out, right? And it's not just because it's a cartoon that you're watching and makes it different, but But you're right, it is the storytelling, but the storytelling within the action sequences as well too, right? There was more intention to it than just let's blow ish up.
Sure.
So that's why it's still for me. Cartoon wow factor is still there.
Right.
Visually.
Okay. And what did you say?
I'm going cartoon.
Cartoon also? Okay. All right. Yeah, that's cool.
And your dad's like, you're walking tomorrow.
Last time we were here.
Good luck.
Today, we're not there. We're not there today.
Man.
We have more categories.
All right.
So,
So what's B?
B, same action sequences, but emotionally. Which one
Emotional?
is carrying the story? Which he was just talking about that. Like,
Right.
it's got to be the cartoon.
I'm
Like-
still down for a cartoon.
Okay, so
You're
yes.
killing Optimus Prime in an action sequence, or mortally wounding him anyway, and you're telling me I'm not going to be picking that movie? What do you know? I'm definitely picking that one.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. As far as emotions, yes, the cartoon. I mean, that scene where Optimus dies is crazy. I mean, like the little boy's bawling his eyes out.
That's me. That's me. I'm the little boy.
That was all the little boys. They're like, what? That's Optimus. How's he died? And like how he turns all gray.
Yeah.
Oh
And
yeah.
he's like,
This guy's
Hey,
very dead.
And you feel
I mean,
the
his chest is like wide open. Like this picture that it paints is so crazy for an animated cartoon. Yeah, I mean that was a good scene for sure. And that scene alone, I would have to pick the 80s version.
Yeah.
I think it was just an 80s sweep there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna assume that Mephisjoe is also picking.
Yeah, I don't know where he went.
I'm not sure either. Hopefully he'll
Left
be
his
back.
water bottle. Well, we're just gonna have to speed run his votes, I guess.
Yeah, we'll just assume we know what he's picking.
Yeah. So next up, human characters. Which one did you
Oh
better?
gosh,
'Cause I
this
didn't-
one's easy for me.
Okay.
what?
Yeah, this is also 80s.
Yeah. I mean, the bond between Spike and RC. Did you get that?
Huh?
What's his name?
Spike and RC.
Yeah. Wasn't that the big relationship in the 80s movie? Is it Spike or what's his name?
Spike is the
Is it dad,
little
huh?
boy?
Yeah,
it
the
dad?
little boy.
Yeah, the boy is something with a D.
What's his name?
His shirt has a big D on it. Daniel.
Daniel?
Yeah.
Daniel,
Okay.
yes, sorry.
Yeah.
Spike's a dad.
Yeah.
It
It was something like it was like Spike or Stone or it's just a word.
It was Spike.
Yeah.
Sounds familiar, so it had to have been Spike. But you're saying what? Daniel and RC had something like a mother child kind of thing.
Yeah. It was that like carrying. You feel the carrying between Daniel and
Yeah, because RC covers him up. Yeah, he covers.
Yeah.
She covers him up certain times to protect him.
Yeah. All right, Spike.
I mean-
there's just 3 generations of men in Transformers, and it's Daniel, Spike, and then his dad. I forgot his dad's name, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember.
And Wait, sorry, I just pulled up a wiki, and Daniel Witwicky has a crush on RC. That's stupid.
Are you serious? That's funny.
What kind of fandom Wikipedia is this?
Well, my vote. Well, no, I do like the humans better in the animation, but all the humans in the Bay movie were so frustrating to me. They were all super
Shallow. It's shallow.
Oh, well, they were shallow, but they were the way they acted so anxious. All of them, like very wiry.
Yeah.
Like everything had to get done right now. Like it was run-on sentences after run-on sentences. It's like, hey, take a little breather, guys.
Take a second.
But all of them just felt like they were going and going, like they all had some Transformer juice in them, and they just couldn't stop. And it was just too much for me. I couldn't handle it.
I couldn't put my finger on what it was that was like. I knew some of what I didn't like about them, but now that you're saying that, yeah, that it was a big reason.
Yeah.
Is it
I'll
all
say
of the
I don't
Michael
like any of it.
all of the Michael Bay movies, or just that first Transformer?
I know the first one and the second one for sure.
Right.
I don't remember the other ones.
I mean, I think
Those other ones.
the only one that really broke the mold was like Bumblebee.
Oh yeah.
As far,
That one was good.
that was actually
You mean the movie?
the movie. Yeah, with
Okay,
Haley
yeah.
Steinfeld. That's like the only exception to the modern
Transformer
Transformers. Yeah, but as far as the other
Yeah.
ones, yeah, it's the same thing. It's whoa, Transformer. that's their character.
They were off.
Yeah. And then when they go emotional, it gets really sappy and like cartoonish almost. Where like it's like stop. I just want to see more action now.
Right, and it's because of what you said. They were just so shallow, also.
Right.
That once they tried to get that emotion out of you, it was like, I don't even care that you're. Yeah, I'd rather just see things blow up now than
Exactly.
try to know
Exactly.
why you care about that person or why you're trying to protect so and so. Like just show me the robots and blow stuff up.
Exactly. It's like I paid $20
The only
for
one
3D.
that but the only one that I really did like was Josh Duhamel. I liked his character. Him and John Voight, the Secretary of Defense.
Mm.
Josh Duhamel was the Army guy.
Yeah.
The military guy.
I forgot about it.
Those two guys, I felt they grounded the movie more than anybody else, but they were in it so little
Yeah.
that it really didn't help the movie.
I mean,
But they were the only ones.
they were the carryovers, pretty much, right? It's like as
Yeah.
far as characters are concerned. I mean,
Yeah.
you didn't even have to go in depth. You just know, okay, Soldier Boy, right? So you know his role is like I'll be,
Mhm.
I'm the soldier. I have to be
Yeah, but they did go in depth with him. It was kind of the problem is when they showed him talking to his wife and the little girl.
Oh, yeah.
And now you're like, oh yeah, so now
Yeah.
you're never going to see your child, or I'm going to be happy at the end when you see your child, and that's exactly what happens. And like they didn't need to do that, and if they did, they should have done it better. And he should have been more of a main character than Shia LaBeouf.
Sam Witwicky.
Yeah, because there was no connection. They didn't make a connection for us to have with him.
Yeah,
They made a connection for us to have with Josh Duhamel, and he wasn't in it.
Yeah, it was a weird choice though.
yeah. I'd rather see what's his name? Back right pocket, back right pocket,
Left cheek,
left cheek.
left cheek.
Why is he saying it so many times?
Because we can quote it now. Oh, you know who else was funny was Grandma, shut up!
Yeah.
Cinema. This is where I get my zen. Grandma, shut up! that part was funny. Anthony Anderson. He was good
I mean,
too.
there was they had to do the comedy breaks and whatnot, just so that's more interesting than just blow everything up. I get that,
Right.
I get that, but
Yeah.
as far
It was just misplaced, I think.
in a lot of ways, it could have been done better. I mean, I
Right.
still watch it opening night and still was awed and be like, okay, cool, they're doing Transformers now. This is a good thing. It was a big thing. It was a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like oh, they should deserve an Oscar for this.
Right. Yeah, I remember I was hyped to watch it too. I mean,
Yeah,
I know
you had
people that
to.
were super hyped and they went opening night too, but that was before we knew what it was going to be.
Yeah.
It was just like, we're seeing live action Transformers. We got to go watch this.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And then it turned out to what it turned out to be, and it was all like this after that. So anyway, that was another sweep for the.
It was not. I vote Bay.
What? For the human characters?
Yeah. Why? I heavily dislike Daniel. This very rarely do these kinds of movies get like kid characters to be likable for me, and once again they failed. I just don't like Daniel, and I don't care about him. I don't care about most of the humans in the Bay movie either, but at least they have some wild, ridiculous personalities that I can get behind. I'm getting nothing from Daniel. I'm sorry.
He cried though.
Oh no, poor little boy. He's sad because his daddy died.
No, he cried because of Optimus.
Yeah.
He got his dad back, and he was happy after that. Oh man! All right, well, one for Bay, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, I think that Mephisjoe votes for 80s also, right? So did you say D?
I say default. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's a fun fact. The 1986 Transformers movie has the same amount of Oscar nominations as all the other Transformers movies combined, which is 3.
I believe it. Yeah. What was it for? The voice acting?
No, best sound editing, best sound mixing, and best visual effects.
Oh, wow.
Sound for sure it deserves.
Yeah.
At least a nomination for it.
All right.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
Transformers.
Yeah. Well, we got that from the cartoons. You just carried that over.
Sure.
You just see it in the big screen now.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No, did that get released in theaters?
Which one?
86?
86, yeah.
Or was it straight to VHS?
Let me double check. We have to double fact check.
I don't remember.
6.
All right, get our next category ready.
Yeah.
So our next categories are also kind of dual,
Okay.
but a little more separate. We have the best musical score. So not the licensed soundtrack. That'll be the next one.
Okay.
But the score, composition. Which one are we voting for here?
So we've got the great Steve Jablonsky on
Yes.
Michael Bay's
Ninja Turtles fame.
and Transformers. And I'm not sure who did the score on the movie.
I remember seeing the
86.
name. Like, I don't know who that is at all.
Hold on.
But you know what? The score was not bad for me.
It wasn't.
Bay.
No. Either one.
I would go with 86 though.
Really?
There's a lot of more music supervision in it, and it was really heavy rock as far as the score is concerned.
Oh yeah.
And I think that just made it a lot different than an orchestral, whatever. They were using a lot of synth sounds. They were using a lot of stuff that were definitely relevant in 80s pop music. Instead of going with your typical, orchestral score kind of thing. So I would go with 86 Transformers.
86.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go. So all that rock stuff. Some of those were actual songs. Would you consider those as licensed music, or would that like?
That's what I'm counting as licensed with that.
Yeah, 'cause that's what I would think. Also.
I mean, then you would go with the music supervision aspect of it rather than the film score. But I think both film score and the music supervision was better. Yeah, I mean, dude, Stan Bush's "You Got the Touch." Right? You will always remember that. I don't remember.
I definitely always remember
I don't remember any of the new Transformers music because they didn't really focus on that. There was no emotional connection to the music and the thing, which they had plenty of chances with Bumblebee involved, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, Stan Bush, and he was also at the 35th anniversary Transformers thing. So I'm like shaking his hand, I'm like, man, my childhood
You got
It's your
touch,
music.
man.
You got the touch. Exactly. But yeah, I mean, but the score itself too. If you go back and listen to it, and just how everything is just synth, and you can just imagine the guy watching the movie and just like playing. You know, like, going to the drum
Having a
machine,
good time.
going to the drum machine, you
Yeah.
know? But it's that, I think it's that rawness that makes it more like, oh, this is like the future, right?
Yeah.
You're not dealing with you know, like I said, the full orchestra and whatnot. And it made it different from other movies, but also made it to connect more with the audience that's watching it.
Well, speaking of the future, you know that movie went way into the future of 2005, right? That's when it takes place.
Really far.
Yeah.
So far into, hey, you know what?
Yeah.
At least Back to the Future did at least 10 more years, you know?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, because they were 20,
2015.
15?
2015. It was always 30 years forward, 30 years back, and 100 and something years back.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, as soon as I realized in 2015 I didn't have a flying car, yeah.
Oh, dude, there was so much disappointment.
Yeah.
But I did.
Not even the car, the hoverboard.
The hoverboard.
The hoverboard we got is not what not what we should.
No, and the thing is, it's like they really teased like it was a real thing the whole time.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
expecting toys to come out, but they do have a self-drying jacket.
Yeah, I've seen that.
That's the only one. That's the only thing from Back to the
I think they did shoes too.
They have the shoes, and one of my biggest regrets was, you know, the Air Mags, right? The shoes.
Uh-huh.
There was like 5 pairs at Ross, and they were being sold for $40 each.
Wow.
Those things are worth, just the Air Mags themselves, without the self-lacing or whatever. They're worth hundreds of dollars now, and I should have just like snapped them up.
Wow. Yeah.
Biggest regret. Not really biggest regret.
Yeah, that was a bad move.
That was a bad move. I should have gone ahead and
At least gotten one, just to put up on your shelf.
Exactly.
Yeah, that would have been cool. I don't blame you though, man. Sometimes it's hard to make those buys. Like, do I really want to get this memorabilia for $50?
Yeah.
Well,
or do I?
I was looking for shoes. I was looking for shoes to wear, and I would have loved to wear those.
Man, I don't know if I would wear them if I had them.
I would.
Because maybe like to the one special function where you just want to show off the shoes, but like on a regular day to day,
Not messing these up.
yeah, they're going on a shelf.
Yeah.
So anyway, where
Where
were
were we? What were we doing? Score.
Yeah. What are we
The
talking
score.
about?
Yeah.
Okay, the score. That's right. All right.
Your vote.
Okay, so my vote, because I can only think of all the rock stuff in the '80s movie, I'm gonna go with Bay as the better like actual score, not songs.
Yeah.
Then you gotta go back and watch the '86 one then.
Yeah, I guess so, man.
Listen
but like
to
I said, I just remember all the songs. That's
I would
all I
say
remember.
that's the thing. There's almost constant music in the '86 version.
Mhm.
It's either '80s hairband rock, licensed music, or very '80s hairband rock inspired score.
Yeah.
And that, for me, makes me not want to vote for that, because it all just kind of blends together.
That's what I'm saying.
But I also don't really like the score for the Michael Bay one, because it's so bland.
I don't
and
either.
nothing.
It's generic.
I'm
Michael-
going to give no points, personally.
Like,
Oh, okay. Nope. I
No,
forgot
wow.
about no pointer.
kid wasn't born in
I
the
don't think
'80s,
I ever
bird.
gave no points.
The kid,
No, he was not.
he was not born. in the
But look, I give him credit because, and we try to do this on every battle that we do with whoever, the movies or the composer, whatever. We try to be very non-biased as to like when we grew up with whatever, because he grew up with the new Spider-Mans and we battled those out.
Right.
and, like he like that's his movies, but he tried to be very non-biased, and that's what I'm trying to do too. Like, it's easy to be like, oh, '80s is the best, no question. But I'm trying to dissect it
Yeah.
without trying to remember how I felt when I first saw them, and just as a viewer, which one was the better one, and that's why I go with Bay. for the score.
Mhm.
Just because, like you said, the '86, everything just kind of ran together, and it was all just like rock, '80s rock stuff, nonstop, and it was too much for me also sometimes.
By the end, there's just silence. What's going on?
When it was over.
Yeah, what's happening?
Now, I'm sure you're also voting for the '86 version because Weird Al Yankovic has a special song in it.
Dare to be stupid.
When that song played, I was like, "Who is that? That sounds familiar." And then at the end, I was like, "It was Weird Al."
Yeah, that explains a lot.
Yeah, I knew the song before they put it on the soundtrack, so I'm like,
yeah, he's a big Weird Al fan.
he's the only celebrity I would actually be like speechless. I'd be
Which
like,
is so funny to me.
like,
Weird Al is the one.
yeah, you know what's funny is like I do all these functions, I see all these celebrities, and they're like just people to me, and I'll talk to them, like, hey,
Right.
nice seeing you, blah blah blah. But if it's Weird Al, I don't know what I'll do.
You're
I
gonna freak
really
out.
don't know. I probably should prepare for something. And
Yeah. I
and
think you need to
and
get ready.
I know a lot of my friends like, I think we can make that happen. I'm like, don't tell me that, because now you're making false
Don't
promises
give me hope.
that I might not be able to handle. But the closest thing I got for a Weird Al thing is that one of the board members at the Scleroderma Foundation was his like college roommate. That's it.
Oh.
That's all I got.
Yeah.
That's
Man, but you got your degrees of separation now.
exactly. Yeah.
Having him at the CamperSnaps sessions is next, man.
Oh man.
That's the obvious next step.
Now you got my
Okay.
brain. I can make that happen. Let me see if I can.
Dude, that would be wild, man. Imagine him doing some acoustic versions of the Nirvana song
Oh my god! In a camper.
in the camper.
Yeah.
Oh,
All
that's
right, I need to find some of his personal friends and be.
I'll let you go. Go ahead and start making those phone calls.
Well, here's the thing, though. I do have a connection. So remember the Daniel Radcliffe movie with Weird Al? Sorry for the sidetrack. About
Yeah.
Weird Al. The guy that plays his guitar used to go to the high school, and I'm really close friends with his mom. I might make this connection. And his mom is Elizabeth Dennehy, who's Brian Dennehy's daughter, and is also from Star Trek and all that stuff. And we're really good friends. We might make it happen, Bird.
No, man, that would be
Oh
wild
my
if you made that
God.
happen.
Man,
Yeah, I'm quitting
I
my
don't know if I
job.
can-
I'm just going straight
That's it. I
CamperSnaps
just-
after that.
It's like, oh, you can't make it out to La Crescenta? Hold on, let me tow it out to your studio over somewhere.
Right. Oh, man, that would be so crazy.
Okay, I need to
Anyway.
get out.
This is how you go up.
That's goals. 2024 is just kidding.
So, like I was
All right,
saying, I
anyway.
also go for the '86 version of best score
Well, that was soundtrack.
and soundtrack. Yes. All right. What was the next one?
Soundtrack.
Oh, soundtrack. '86 version.
86.
No, I mean, because of I Got the Touch, like I say that in my head when I was drawing that, I was like, I got the touch, I got
Yeah.
the power.
Yeah.
I definitely.
Yeah, no, and I think the fact that they married the song to the movie, and it's just like it's just iconic. And us growing up in the
for sure.
80s, that was like that was life. That was like, you know, every time we succeeded on something, in the back of our heads, it's like, you got the touch.
Yeah.
I finished my soup. You got the touch.
Right. Yeah, for sure, man. And like I said, I think of it all the time still, even if it's just in my head. I won't do it out loud. But now I can do it out loud because you know the movie.
Yeah, now I
so
understand.
now you might hear it more often. But yeah, for sure, man.
And now you
Soundtrack
know.
goes there. Even though, like I said, it was a lot of rock that just kind of blended in together. But that particular thing, having Weird Al in there was crazy. But yeah, it was better than what's their names on the Bay versions.
Yeah,
Exactly, you don't remember.
Linkin Park.
Yeah.
Linkin Park. So,
Ridiculous.
and Mephisjoe votes '80s also.
Yes, for sure.
Default.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Oh,
I'm dearly sorry.
because you couldn't handle it. You just couldn't handle it.
I like the 80s rock band stuff.
Yeah.
I genuinely do.
You're
I listen to it.
You're an 80s fan.
I didn't like that Touch song as the background for the ultimate battle between good and evil. I'm sorry.
Wow.
I also don't like the Linkin Park song for the end of Transformers, if that makes it feel better. So once again, I'm giving no points.
Oh my gosh.
Man.
I did not like the musical aspects of either movie.
So I didn't remember that they played that song twice in the 86 version. I strictly remember it from Hot Rod getting, and if it was only there, I think it would have hit better.
Yeah, I think
if it was just the one time.
So I get what they're going for.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, it carries over because now he's the new Prime.
Yeah,
he's the one that has touch.
Like when he played in the very beginning, that was like sort of like the driving energy for the entire show for me.
Yeah,
you know, with Daniel and moving. Basically, it's like this is what we listen to in regular life, kind of thing. It's like this is what we play on the radio while we're riding our Transformers. And then at the very end, when it becomes part of the big scene, it's like, oh, there's the climax of the entire movie where it brings it back and it's a full look. See, circular intention for the way the movie moved. So it's great. So how much is TallBeing going to be paying rent now?
I know.
I'm using up all my points.
We'll see by the end. If the victory goes to the wrong movie, then we might have issues. So,
all right, moving on.
All right,
Next gallery.
Yeah.
We've only got a couple more here.
All right.
So first, which one had a better overall story direction in how it took the Transformers, just the story?
Okay. Well, so we've been talking about this.
Yeah, it's the 80s one.
The 86 version definitely had a better story.
Yeah.
They did it better.
The opening alone, I watched like, okay, this is real. This is good.
Right.
Unicron shows up, eats a planet, we're done here.
Yeah.
Like, the crunch sound effect was funny. I just thought
that was weird. That was the only thing, though.
That's the only thing.
Yeah.
Like, okay. But,
well, I mean,
hands down, it's great.
The fact that they established the impending danger, right?
Yeah, first scene right off the bat,
and even though it was like Decepticons, Autobots thing, it's in the back of your mind that this big thing is actually coming. That's bigger than the Decepticons, and it really carried the story along. The story itself, the journey of discovery, the journey of it's a diamond in the rough story, right? You have this kid that doesn't listen to anybody, but ends up being the leader in that transformation, literal transformation between who he was and who he is now. It's shown. So there's a lot of depth within the story itself. It's not just robots blowing everything up, which was the whole point of Michael Bay's like, how can we show, New York blow up? How can we show Hong Kong blow up? And establish itself as that, and then let's throw in a couple of humans in there, right? For side jokes.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so it's it's definitely. I mean, yeah. So 80s for me, as far as all that's concerned.
Better story.
Definitely better.
I think
it's clearer too. Like you knew what was happening at all times.
Yeah.
Right, and you're with these characters.
Okay, so you voted 86.
Yeah.
I voted 86. You voted 86.
So by default,
right?
Yeah.
So
86.
You definitely voted 86. Yeah. No question.
Well, we've got one more category.
All right.
This is, I feel like a fitting one to end on.
Okay.
Which movie better delivered and used the classic Transformers quotes?
Yeah.
Those being Autobots roll out.
Mm-hmm.
These ones are the ones I specifically listed. There are probably more I missed. There's more than meets the eye. And the one shall fall and one shall rise.
One shall fall, one shall rise.
Yeah. I mean, they were all delivered by the same person.
Yep.
Just decades apart.
Yep.
One was animated, one was live action. That's so fun.
Let's keep it.
But to me, one was way better than the other.
Yes.
Way different.
It's 86, right? We're thinking the same thing.
You get to still not pay rent.
Yeah.
So
I get one more year.
You still get to live at home.
yeah, no, definitely the 86 I think was better. I think when they said the one shall rise, one shall fall in the 86 part was really well done, where they face off.
I think 86 had the advantage because they weren't quoting anything yet.
Mm-hmm.
They were just lines.
Yeah.
And so when they tried to use them in the 2007 one, they were like, "Oh, we gotta quote the lines."
Yeah, it was definitely just fan. What do you call that? Fan service.
Yeah.
Fan service. Yeah. I mean, because they tried to deliver it like the More Than Meets the Eye was delivered in a different way by Sam when he's in the car. He's like, "No, there's just more than meets the eye to people," or whatever he said.
That one was kind of funny. I can kind of get behind that.
And then I think it could have worked if he also didn't make fun of it.
Yeah.
Because right away he just turns around and was like, "What am I saying?" I don't know. It was weird for me.
He's a weird character. Weird.
Well,
he's a weird guy.
We went through that already. So, yeah. Which one do you vote for, man?
I would still go for 86. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not like, it was I mean, personally, and I have to go personally as a viewer, like with the cartoons, right?
Uh-huh.
Where you hear these things in like short stories, and then to be brought up in the big movie, and to hear it transform and roll out, and like, yes, right? And then of course all the lines were said iconically as well too. That when they did bring it back up in Bay's version, you're like, all right, we good, right? It's like, thank you for giving us that as a fan.
Yeah,
right.
So at least you didn't rob us of that.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly. Like, why didn't that's a perfect opportunity. You didn't have that moment with those phrases, but there's a lot of missed opportunities all over the place.
I think if you compare it to, like Captain America, when he says "Avengers Assemble," right, where there's a whole build-up, because that's obviously a quote that he says a lot in comics.
Yeah.
And so, like, you are waiting for him to say it, and there was like 2 or 3 times when you thought he was going to say it, and he doesn't say it, and then finally in the last movie, he says it, and it's done so well.
Yeah. So this was the moment to use it.
It wasn't just fan service. It made sense with the story, which was not how they used it in the Bay version. It was just like, we have to throw him in there in this movie, just like we already said. Like, we got to do this fan service. Let's find a way to throw it in.
Yeah.
And that's what they did. And
that's what it feels like, is thrown in.
Right.
Just used naturally.
Yeah. So 86 easily for me.
We need 100.
86.
This joke? Oh, yeah.
This looks.
Well, we're out of categories. So I'm not even going to count these up. 86 won by a landslide. 2007 did not even get a full 10 points.
Oh. So,
assuming Mephisjoe didn't vote for any 2007 stuff,
sure,
we're going to assume he didn't.
But even if we take out 5 of his votes.
Yeah. Still did not.
Yeah. 86 still wins, right? You guys that are watching, listening, let us know who you think should win. Be non-biased. I know you guys that were born in 2000 are like, no, the Michael Bay ones are the best movies. Be non-biased. Go back and check out the animated version.
We can all admit they're bad. I love 2007 as a year just as much as everyone else won that year. But
be true to yourself.
I should admit that it's bad.
You know what? At the end of the day, here's how Michael Bay would have fixed the 2007 movie if he was able to recreate again. Just recreate the 86 movie and put the explosion.
Word for word.
Exactly. That would have just been like, yes, finally. You know,
I think
it gets the special effects it deserves. It gets the human people it deserves. It gets all, you know, the scenery, all that spectacle that it deserved as the story, and just develop. You know, take that story and develop. I mean, why do you think all these Disney remakes are successful? Because they're just taking the same story and the same, you know, ability to tell that story in a different way. Right? So even though you're like, oh no, not another recreation of Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, blah, 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 you're going, oh, I'd like seeing, you know, we have a new generation that would like to see, any old generation that would like to see it just done differently. But it's still the same story. That's why I'm a big theater geek, right? I love theaters because I get to see the same story told a different way. Right? And whether it's more special effects or even run down, if you can tell that story and have the acting to a T, it'd still be great. So 1986, if they just recreate that entire movie with the technology we have now.
Yeah, that's what was cool about Bumblebee.
Exactly.
They kind of did a little bit of that in the beginning.
That's what.
And then the designs were definitely more like the 86, and that's what like everybody liked. And the story was just way better. Yeah, the humans were way. I mean, Haley Steinfeld was just a level above everybody else that's been in these movies.
I think on a personal level, it wasn't just like a robot movie, right? It was no longer a robot movie. It's a relationship movie. It's now a personal movie. It's, you know, and that's what they did right with that. And I wish they could have brought that over to the other movies. I mean, they tried in some of the other Transformers where the father-daughter relation, all this other stuff, but it was just so unbelievable that it did not do any service to movie. And then when they get even more ridiculous with you know, the knights, and even like, I'm sorry, but the whole Rise of the Beast thing, really, you know, watching it going, they just wanted to sucker in the people that grew up on Beast Wars, right? Because for me, Beast Wars was like Optimus Primal was Optimus Prime. There was no difference for me as far as who these characters were, right? If they could go back and just like, or not go back, but in the future, tell more stories, tell a better story, and then it wouldn't matter how the action sequences are, how many things you blow up, and as long as people are more emotionally involved in it, it'll be just more memorable that way.
Right, because we've talked about that before, where like, I can forgive bad CGI in a movie. If the story's there, then I can forgive the bad CGI.
Like, look at the original Star Wars trilogy. There is a lot of really good special effects that still hold up. But like, first lightsabers didn't look great.
Right.
We're still going back to them over and over because those are near perfect movies.
Right. The storytelling on it was great. Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so
except for DC stuff, it's just awful when you do bad CG and bad story at the same time.
All right, a couple things I want to mention on each movies. So first, the 86 version, body count was high. Very for an animated movie. A lot of deaths going on in this movie. So that was fun to point out.
Yeah. Gonna point out that there was cursing.
There was cursing.
It happened. I was like, "Whoa!" An 80s animated movie. Wasn't expecting that one.
Yeah. That was another thing. Starscream, he shot his foot off to get away. I don't know if you remember that. Like there was some kind of piece of machinery closing in, and he was stuck in it, and he just shot his foot to get away. Like, that's crazy. All right, the Bay movies did not like when the Megan Fox character is like, oh, this old car is whatever. Like, why would it choose this? And then it turns into the new Camaro.
Yeah,
like that's supposed to be a better upgrade. I don't know. Maybe you like the new Camaro, but
no.
Also, I thought the old one. I mean, it's a classic.
That felt like a weird scene to me too, just on a character. Well,
you realize
we're gonna insult and bully Bumblebee until he becomes a cooler, a car that we think is cooler.
Yeah.
The 2007 Michael Bay movie was a GM commercial. It was heavily funded by GM.
Yes.
And that's
right.
what
and it really was.
The whole thing
Yeah.
was a GM commercial. Every car that they're going to feature is going to be a GM car, and they want you to remember the new Camaro. That's the entire purpose of that.
Oh yeah, for sure. A couple good points though, because again, trying to be non-biased, get some good stuff out of each of these. I did think that the intro was good when the chopper comes through and then destroys it.
Yeah.
That was really good. It started off good, but then went downhill from there.
Oh yeah.
But that intro was thumbs up. Bernie Mac at his little guest appearance as the car salesman.
Good
Yep.
scene.
I mean, another good thing. So, and that's where that ends. So,
End of story.
we could definitely do a dumpster diving on this movie.
We could,
But
I don't want to watch the movie again to have to do that.
nah.
So
Plus, we're running out of time. We already picked our winner. It was the 86 version. You guys, again, let us know what you think.
Go watch it. I mean,
Yeah.
bring your kids and tell them to watch it, and they'll laugh at how slow the animation was.
Yeah. All right. So, anything else you want to say, D1?
If you're not watching this, watch CamperSnaps sessions. We would love to see you comment on that as well too. We have Sam Morelos is on the screen for January. We have several more coming up, and if you can, just listen to the music while you're working. We have the subscribers. We just don't have the time, the watch time, because they're all like 3-4 minute videos. You're not going to get the watch hours that you normally get when you're doing long format stuff or you're looking viral stuff. We just want to make quality content and great music, and it's a blast. And we're doing a collaboration with Cultural Cultivators podcast. So when they release their podcast, we'll be releasing it on CamperSnap sessions, because they decided to come down from San Francisco to do some interviews with Emmy nominated writer and actress and singer Joy Regagliano, and as well as one of our CamperSnaps favorite and the person that kicked it off for us, Ella J. Bosco. So please watch CamperSnap sessions after watching this.
And just to tie it back into movies, L.J. Basco is from the Birds of Prey. Birds of Prey? No,
Birds of Prey.
What's it called? It's Birds of Prey. The Emancipation of Harley Quinn, or whatever it's called.
like 5 titles.
She is the little girl in that movie. She also sings, and she is like you said, the first one that kicked off our CamperSnap session. So go check that out. And this most recent one, Sam Morelos, is from that 90s show on Netflix. Great singer, really cool.
Yeah.
So go check those out.
It's funny because her mom grew up in the 90s and she's playing sort of like her mom in the 90s.
A 90s kid.
It's hilarious.
She gets some good advice then.
Exactly. And great person altogether and extremely talented. So please go watch that. And then maybe when Bird and the family come down to LA, we'll do this here in the camper.
Yeah, man, that'd be fun.
Cross content.
So
cross promotion.
Yeah. So again, follow us as well on Facebook, on Instagram, the Room Upstairs Podcast. If you're listening, we're on YouTube. If you're watching, subscribe, like, comment. And that is my littlest one singing you a song to say goodnight.
Yeah.
And we'll see you later. Thanks,
a new
guys.
theme song.
We'll check you next time.
Peace.